So we're just going to start letting your video play through here so you can see what's going on. Front view. Okay, so if we first start with side view, we look at this set position here and we can see that your weight is very much right in the middle of your body. If anything, slightly more on this front leg because of the slope of the mound beginning to go down where this front leg is at. And because of this position, like we talked about last year, we're not going to be able to get this leg off the ground without this body having to go back. Okay? And now you guys are at the age now where if you're having to shift your weight back in order to get your leg off the ground, base runners are going to see that and they're going to start getting better, quicker, faster jumps off you, which we do not want, cannot have. And we'll be able to see once it becomes set how much your body has to shift back before that heel even begins to come off the ground. So if I was a base runner or I was a guy that was facing you, I'd watch as soon as the first base runner got on, if either I was on base, I was hitting, or in the dugout, within 2 or 3 pitches, I'm going to see that this elbow comes up and starts moving before anything else does. Boom, that elbow starts to come up as your weight starts to shift back. So when I get on first base, I'm watching this elbow, I'm watching your hips. As soon as elbow goes up and hip starts to go back, I'm taking off to second base because you're going to have to shift back and now your foot's finally off the ground. So I'm going to get a good half step or at least get my body turned before that heel's even off the ground because your body does not have enough weight back yet to be able to get this foot to come off the ground. So you got to remember more weight in the back leg than the front leg, and we need that weight stacked over the back leg, not down the middle of our body. Back leg bent, front leg not. Our entire body stacked over that back leg. Then this isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just an extra movement that's not really needed right out the gate. Okay, and it's probably because we are trying to shift weight back, and that's the reason your elbow's going up. We'd rather just stay a little more relaxed with those elbows. Okay, we do a good job though of getting a good height of a leg lift, good angle of the leg lift. If we could get this leg higher, that'd be nicer, but it's at least at above the minimum. All right, we do a good job of keeping the front side closed in the beginning here. Doing a good job continuing to stay closed here. All right, front leg looks like it got about 85% of the way rotated before it hit the ground. The back leg got almost like maybe 10% rotated because we can see that the back hip, which is right here, if there's a pull coming out of your hip towards the camera, it'd be straight on line. And that pull is not going to really rotate towards third base dugout, towards on deck batter, to the catcher ultimately. It just kind of stays right there facing us once that foot hits the ground. We can also tell by looking at the back foot that the only thing that's happened on this back foot is the heel has come off the ground. heel has come off the ground. Okay, we haven't gotten any rotation yet from that back foot. Haven't got any rotation from the back hip, and therefore the knee, which is trying to rotate, but because it's the only one of the three parts that need to rotate, it can't help the other two come along on time. And on time meaning when this foot hits the ground, this backside be in a position that looks more like this as opposed to this. We can see how much more the back hip has rotated in this position. We can see how much more the back foot has rotated in this position, but that front foot is already on the ground before those rotations occur. So we're just a little late with the backside rotating. We can look at the front view here and we'll be able to see what position that front leg looks like when it hits the ground. Boom. We can see we're landing on the inside part of our foot. We need to be getting this foot underneath ourselves more, or better way to think about it is this knee more in line here. If this knee was rotated more, this knee rotated more than it already is. We see how that knee rotates forward. We need to rotate more. So then it would get to about right here. And then your foot would hopefully then have the ability to be landing flat as opposed to on the inside part of your foot. So now that we found ourselves in this position, this is where now our upper body rotates and sends all the energy we've just created with our lower body. So how our upper body rotates now is going to be done so by what our lower body has already done and the position our lower body has gotten us to here. That determines how our upper body rotates, which then determines where the energy is going. So because this front leg here is in this position, we're going to see how that upper body has to kind of rotate on a slight angle out this way with the head, until this knee gets in line. And now it could start to then send it straight to the target, but because it's already began to go ripping this way to get this leg in this position, we can assume what? It's going to want to continue to rotate in that type of direction. So we can see from this view how that kind of looks, how we kind of just are like opening those shoulders up. And that's this right here. That's us trying to get that leg to straight, is why the shoulders are having to open up and the head's having to fly open like that. So we just need to get that leg to land in this position here once that foot hits the ground, not foot hit the ground here, then knee get here. We can also see that when foot gets here into that flat position, how much better this back leg is in position. So our front leg and back leg just need to rotate more completely, more fully before that front foot hits the ground than it already is. And if we just get some quick comparisons for you to see that with, use Strasbourg. All right, so now if we just watch this back leg, foot, knee, hip go through rotation. Bring that back. Back, hip, knee, foot through that rotation. Boom. We look at that front, hip, knee, foot going through its rotation right into foot strike. Right into foot strike. And now if we get your side view, this side view, right there. We get you at foot strike, boom. We can see the differences between those foot strike positions in the lower leg. You can see this leg is going very much more straight to the target with the knee and then down. Your knee is coming inwards of your body like we saw in the front view. And the big difference is the backside leg turned over all the way with the foot, knee, and bringing the back hip then forward. Like I said, you get to that position, but it's after this front foot has hit the ground, and it's right here now. So now your guys' lower bodies look the same, but in order to get your guys' lower bodies to the same, look how much more your upper body has had to rotate. Your upper body was in very similar positions that Strasbourg is in when both your front foot hits the ground, but again, we can see the differences in the back leg at this position in time. To get your lower body like his, we got to go forward a little bit to there, but now we can see how much rotation of your upper body you had to sacrifice to get there. So now if we just play Strasbourg, this is how much power, direction, and energy is flowing through his delivery caused by what his lower body did for him. Out in front. Out in front rotation. Out in front rotation. Out in front. We don't see that head going towards first base like yours is. And the reason because of that is because he got into, when that foot hit the ground, a lot better, stronger position to throw with the lower half, which then determines how the upper half rotates. So we just got to get better lower half, which is going to be a lot easier to achieve if we come into a better, stronger set position.